All right, let's talk about something that is, no joke, one of the most important skills you can have right now. It's all about how to spot what's true in this absolute chaos of information we're all swimming in every single day. Let's just dive right in.
Okay, just imagine for a second. You're scrolling and you see this. Lady Dada is performing at your school. I mean, how incredible would that be? Your absolute favorite artist right there. Your heart starts pounding, right? But then, that little voice in the back of your head kicks in. You know the one. It whispers, wait a second, is this actually real? Could this possibly be true?
And of course, this is exactly how this stuff spreads, right? It's never some big official announcement. Nah, it's on your friend Leon's face page. And he's all like, no, for real. There's even a link to the school's website. And, that sounds pretty legit, a link and everything. But this is the exact moment where our detective work has to begin.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to dig into this Lady Dada rumor. Then, we'll get into the main event, the art of source criticism. Think of it as our toolkit. We'll figure out how to track down the primary source, talk about why this stuff actually matters because the stakes are super high, and we'll look at what I call the I wanna believe trap. And by the end, you'll see how you can start doing this stuff every day.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats. The Lady Dada rumor, that's our case file. We've got our claim, Lady Dada is coming. Now we've got to investigate. And what's rule number 1 for any detective? You always check your sources.
So, what even is a source? It's really simple. It's just where you got the info from. It could be a book, a website, something your buddy told you. I mean, hey, right now, I'm a source for you. The most important thing is just to know what your source is. That's always step 1, before you can even begin to figure out if it's any good.
Okay, so in our case, the source is Leon's post. Easy enough. But just pointing at the source, that's not going to cut it. We need to know how to actually question it. And that brings us to the real superpower we're talking about today, source criticism.
I know, the word criticism sounds kind of negative, right? Like you're just trying to tear something down. But that's not what we mean here. Think of it more like being a food critic or a movie critic. It's about evaluation, assessment. You're not just swallowing whatever you're served, you're looking at it carefully to see if it's actually any good, if it holds up under a little pressure.
And let's be clear, this is not just for scientists in a lab or historians poring over old books. This is a vital, everyday life skill for every single one of us. Seriously. Getting good at this is what stops you from being that person who accidentally shares a fake rumor, whether it's about a world event or just something silly happening in your town.
Okay, so how do we actually do it? Where do we start? Well, the very first move is to figure out how close your source is to the original event. It's like a game of telephone. We want to get as close to the beginning of the line as possible, and that means we need to find the primary source.
Let's make this super simple. A primary source? That's the person who was actually there. They saw it with their own eyes. It's the original document, the raw footage. A secondary source is, well, it's everyone else. It's someone retelling the story, summarizing what the primary source said. Think about it. Most news reports you read are actually secondary sources because they're reporting on an event or on what someone else said.
So back to our case. Leon, total secondary source. He's just passing along something he saw online. But the school's website, that's supposed to be our primary source. That's the alleged origin of this whole thing. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to get to that website and check it out for ourselves.
And hey, here's a super important trap to avoid. Don't get fooled just because you see a story everywhere. You might see 10 different news sites all reporting the same thing, but if you dig in, you find out they're all just quoting the exact same single source. That doesn't make the story 10 times more true. It just means one story is being echoed 10 times. It's an echo chamber, not confirmation.
All right, I know what you're thinking. A fake concert rumor. It's kind of funny, no big deal, right? But we need to get serious for a minute, because learning this skill isn't just about spotting pranks. The consequences of not doing this, of getting it wrong, they can be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, false rumors aren't just jokes. Not even close. Think about this. Misinformation about vaccines has led to people not getting them, and because of that, we've seen the comeback of deadly diseases. Diseases we had pretty much wiped out. We're talking about real life and death stuff here. And if you look at history, it gets even darker. So many times, false information deliberately spread about a group of people has led to persecution, violence, and even all-out war. So yeah, checking your sources, it's way more than just a little mental puzzle. It's a huge responsibility we all have.
Okay,
Let's step back from the heavy stuff and return to our case, Lady Dada. We've talked about the tools. We understand the stakes. Now it's time to actually use them and examine that primary source we found.
So we clicked the link on Leon's page, and here we are. It looks like the school's homepage. But listen, getting to the primary source is not the end of the investigation. In fact, it's just the beginning of the next phase. Now we have to ask the big question. Is this thing even real?
And as soon as we start looking closer, things start to look a little fishy. Wait a minute, there are spelling mistakes all over the place. An official school site wouldn't have that. And hang on, look at the actual URL in the address bar. That doesn't look right at all. These aren't just little mistakes. These are massive red flags screaming that something is off.
And there it is. We click on one more thing and haha, fooled ya? It was a prank. The whole thing. The so-called primary source was a complete fake. So, sorry to break it to you, the dream is dead. Lady Dada is not coming.
But this is where we get to the real nugget of truth here. Why did we fall for it? Or at least, why were we so ready to? Simple. We wanted it to be true. This is a huge deal. It's a psychological trap called confirmation bias. We are all wired to believe things that we wish were true. And when that feeling kicks in, our critical thinking skills just shut down. That's when we're easiest to fool.
So, case closed on the Lady Dada rumor. But look, this was never really about a pop star. The real point is to give you the tools to solve all the other cases, big and small, that get thrown at you every single day.
So what can you do? What's our part in all this? It's actually pretty simple. Just 3 things. 1, before you hit share, before you tell a friend, just stop. Take a breath. Think. 2, do a quick check on the source. Does it feel right? Is it trustworthy? And 3, and this is the big one, be the person who breaks the chain. Be the one who stops a rumor in its tracks, instead of being another link that helps it spread.
Look, being a critical thinker isn't something you just do once. It's a habit. It's a way of moving through the world. It really is about taking ownership of what you believe and what you put back out there. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. What's one thing you've heard recently that maybe, just maybe, deserves a second look?